your props before we get started. Like I said, a bolster or couch cushion or pillow, and then a block, or you can use a stack of books. We're gonna just use it as an option to rest the head on during one of our poses. And then always in our classes, if you have something like an eye pillow or a sleeping mask, it's nice to have just to cover the eyes during poses to really let them rest. And then we won't need it for any poses, but if you want a blanket just to kind of cover up and get a little bit cozier, feel free to grab that. So just making sure that you have all your props. And for our first pose, we will be with our legs against the wall. So if you can find a space where you can put your legs up the wall or on the back of a couch or on a chair, just finding somewhere you can either move your mat or like I just brought a little blanket cushion thing towards the wall. So just making sure you have everything, and then bringing yourself close to a support. We'll go ahead and get started with our first pose. So you're gonna start just coming to sit next to the wall or your support. Then you'll come lying on the side and then scooch as close as possible. You're gonna come onto the back and then send the feet up so that they're supported on the wall. So the legs are as straight as possible. If the knees are slightly bent, that's totally fine. But just straightening as much as possible. Legs are slightly separated. Your feet are flexed up towards the sky. If you have an eye pillow or a sleeping mask, you can cover the eyes in this pose. And then send the arms up overhead, palms facing up. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. So just finding your variation of waterfall, legs up the wall. Finding whatever props or support you need. And then closing the eyes if it's comfortable for you. And we use this pose as a way to begin to tune in for our practice. So we'll hold our poses for 3 to 5 minutes tonight to really allow the body to fully relax, to allow our nervous system to begin to reset, to let go of stress, anxiety, worry. So using this space in our first pose to begin to tune into the breath. Just beginning to notice the inhale and the exhale. Beginning to deepen the inhale and lengthen the exhale. Maybe beginning to start a full, deep round of yogic breath, where we breathe into the belly first as we inhale, then filling the lungs, then exhaling from the lungs first and emptying the belly. So as we inhale, we fill the belly, then filling the lungs. With the exhale, empty the lungs and then the belly. Taking these deep, full breaths help the nervous system to begin to drop into parasympathetic state. Beginning to bring your body into its rest and digest mode. We're dropping out of the sympathetic, which is our fight or flight mode, which we function a lot of our day-to-day lives in for many of us. So we're giving our body the space to come into this parasympathetic state so that the body can be in a rest and digest space, which gives the body the opportunity to start to repair and replenish and heal itself from the inside out. Really allowing your body to soak up all of the nutrients of our poses tonight. So following that full, deep rhythm of breath, allowing all of the muscles to begin to release and relax. Feeling the lower back melt into the ground. Letting any tension go from the shoulders, the neck, the head. If you're feeling any shaking or trembling happening in the legs or in the arms, know that that's totally normal. It's just your nervous system relieving stress. It's your nervous system letting go. Let's take 3 more deep, full rounds of breath here. And then with your next exhale, slowly begin to drop the knees towards the chest with integrity, dropping down. Then when you're ready, rolling over to the right side, just scooching away from the wall, coming back onto the back. You're going to bring the feet wide as the mat and then allow the knees to touch. So the feet are wide, the knees are touching. The hands come by the side, palms facing up. Just taking a few breaths here. Letting the spine settle. Letting your energy settle. Then when you're ready, we'll roll over to the right side. Use hands and arms to help you bring up. Try not to activate the muscles in the back. Then coming up to a seat, and we'll grab our bolster or our cushion for our next pose. We're going to come into a reclining butterfly as we begin to work with the wood element tonight. So you're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Because we're working with wood, we want to bring the heels as close to the body as possible. So soles of the feet are fully touching, heels as close as possible. If that's out here, it's totally fine. If it's closer to the body, go ahead and do that. And then we'll slowly release back. If you find that you would like some more support, feel free to put another cushion or another pillow here as you come back. So we'll slowly lower down using the hands, using the arms, making sure that the lower back is supported. Again, having the heels as close to the body as possible. And then for your arms, you have a few options. You can bring the hands by the side, palms facing up. You might choose to have the arms out at shoulder height, elbows bent at 90 degrees. This helps to open up the shoulders, to open up the chest a little bit more deeply. Or if you've been feeling a lot of heat in the body, if your body's been feeling overheated, you can grab opposite elbows and then bring the hands above the head. This helps to redistribute the heat in the body. So if you've been feeling kind of warm, holding opposite elbows and bringing them above the head. So just choosing whatever variation will work for you. Deciding what feels best for your body today. And then closing the eyes. Having the eye pillow or the eye cushion on, if you want. And then we'll allow ourselves to come back to the breath. Feeling that full, deep breathing. Feeling the entire body begin to let go. Feeling all of our muscles begin to relax. And we hold our poses for so long in our yin practice because it gives our muscles the opportunity to actually relax, which then allows our nervous system to relax, and it allows us to move past the muscle and to open up our fascia, that deep connective tissue that runs through our whole body, between our muscles, our ligaments, our tendons, our organs. We have sheets of fascia in our whole body. And in Yin, it's believed that the fascia is our life story. The fascia is where we hold stuck emotion, where we hold anxiety, where we hold trauma and shock that happen in our lives. So when we have tightness or tenderness in the body, it can come from these blockages in our fascia. So as we're holding our poses for these extended period of time, we're allowing the muscle to let go, coming past the muscle into the fascia, and then allowing any blockages or unnecessary stored emotions to move through and be cleansed out of our bodies. So if you're in a pose this evening and you feel the discomfort, or you feel the tightness or tenderness in any areas of the body, you can use your breath, your most powerful tool, to breathe into those areas of discomfort, using the inhale to gather any uncomfortable sensations. And then with each exhale, let it go. With each exhale, cleansing out, removing blockages, removing stuck energy, and ultimately opening up space, creating spaciousness in the body to have room for all that is meant for us. So if you're feeling it in the hips, or feeling it in the knees, or maybe in the shoulders, depending on the variation that you chose, using the last bit of this pose to breathe into those spaces, using each exhale to relax a bit more fully, to open a bit more deeply. Taking 4 more deep cleansing breaths. And then with your next exhale, can release the hands by the side if they're not already there. And then we're going to slowly bring the knees together. If you want, you can use the hands on the thighs to slowly guide the knees back together. And then just allow the lower back to be supported, feet planted, knees towards the sky, hands by the side. Just taking a few breaths here back in a more neutral state before we move to our next pose. And then as you're ready, rolling over to the right side, using the hands to help you slowly come up. We're going to keep the bolster or your cushion as it is, and we'll just come onto the right hip. You're going to bring the right leg out at 90 degrees. So the knee is in line with the hip, the ankle is in line with the knee, and the foot is flexed. Then the left leg, you're going to move the left knee to come in line with the left hip, and then the left ankle comes in line with the knee. So you're making 2 90-degree ankles. Both feet are flexed to protect your knee joints. Once you have the legs placed, you'll place the hands either side of your bolster. You're going to reach the crown up towards the sky with an inhale. As you exhale, twist the body towards your cushion, walking the hands forward. The palms are going to face up. You can choose what's most comfortable. You can look towards the knees, or you can look in the opposite direction. So just finding what feels most accessible for your body today. Again, if you need more of a cushion, feel free to grab it. Just allowing the body to feel as supported as possible. And then if you're feeling it very deeply in the hips or in the knees, trying to stay with the sensation, not becoming attached to anything that's happening, but just using your breath, breathing in, and then using the exhale, letting it all go. Beautiful. So we're working with the wood element tonight. And wood is all about renewal, awakening, and rebirth in our lives. The spirit of wood helps us to organize and coordinate our ideas, to set clear visions for ourselves and our lives, and to create action steps to allow us to implement or move towards changes in our lives. So maybe using this pose, if you like to set intentions for practice, is there any area that you would like to bring renewed energy to? Or a part of yourself that you would like to more deeply awaken? Or maybe an area of your life that you've been craving a rebirth or a refocus. And just taking the last bit of this pose to set an intention as we're working with the wood element, to maybe start to visualize, to maybe start to organize our thoughts, or to allow the plans or actions necessary to appear in our lives. Let's take 3 more deep, full breaths. Breathing in your intention. With the next exhale, bringing the head back to center, bringing the hands under the shoulders, using the arms to help you come up, and then just turning away from your prop. Bring the knees bent, pointing up, and just take a few breaths here. Maybe noticing any difference between the left and the right side. Noticing if you're feeling more space, and just allowing everything to settle. When you're ready, we'll inhale here. Exhale, drop the knees over to the left. This time, bringing the left knee in line with the hip, the left ankle in line with the knee, and then bringing that right knee in line with the hip, bringing the right ankle in line with the knee, ensuring both feet are flexed to protect our knees. And once the legs are set up at 90 degrees, bringing the hands either side of the prop. Inhale, crown to the sky. Exhale, walking towards your support, allowing the palms to face up, and then choosing, looking towards the knee or looking in the opposite direction. Closing the eyes. Coming back to the breath. Coming back to that full round of breathing. And just becoming aware. Maybe this hip is tighter or feels more tense than the other. And really actively using the breath to gather any discomfort. And allow the exhale to release and let it go. Allowing yourself to feel solidified in your intention of renewal or awakening or rebirth from within during our practice tonight. imagining every muscle in the entire body relaxing over your support, relaxing the shoulders, the neck, relaxing the hips, the legs, allowing the body to fully drop into your pose. Taking 4 more deep, nourishing breaths. With your next exhale, bringing the head back to center, hands come underneath the shoulders, releasing up, allowing the knees to stay bent, pointing up towards the sky. Taking a few breaths back in neutral, allowing everything to settle. Beautiful work. And then we're going to go into a supported upright swan. So you'll keep that bolster or cushion. And then we'll start with the bolster towards the top of the mat. And we're going to start on our hands and knees. So coming into a tabletop position, then we're going to bring the left foot forward in front of the bolster and then walk it over towards the left side of the mat. Sorry, the right foot forward, walk it to the left side of the mat, so across the mat. And then allow the hip to be supported here, bringing your back leg towards the outside of the mat. If it doesn't come all the way to the outside, wherever it lands is totally fine. Just bringing it towards the outside. The front leg, again, is that 90-degree angle. We're opening up this meridian on the inside of the legs, connected with the wood element. And the foot is towards the outside of the mat. The foot is flexed. You're bringing the hands onto the bolster. And if you feel like you need a little bit more support here, you can go ahead and get some more support, or if it feels too intense, you can feel free to move the support and just come into a pigeon pose. Hands on the bolster, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears and closing the eyes. This deep hip opener. The hips are the seat of all relationships. So working on our relationship with self, our relationship with others. Like I said, we're working a lot with this meridian on the inside of the legs. The wood element is connected to our liver, and the liver meridian is on the inside of the legs. So we're doing a lot of work tonight to open up any blockages there in that meridian. So we can note there's an imbalance of wood by a few different things. If the wood element is out of balance in our life or in someone's life, Sometimes we can feel that everything is against us or that nothing in life is going our way. This can come from an imbalance in the wood element. If someone is feeling blocked from fully expressing themselves, or like they are not good enough or don't have the qualities to be whatever it is that they want to achieve, this can come from an imbalance here. Maybe someone who is lacking confidence or lacking motivation to take action steps towards their purpose. Or someone who is unable to follow through with plans or shows a lot of impulsiveness in their actions. Someone who's feeling a lot of aggression or anger. This is a sign of imbalance with wood element. Also, people who display arrogance or are overly competitive. This can come from the imbalance in the wood element. So all of these are signs that's important to work with this element to help to calm and restore these areas in our lives. So let's take 2 more deep, full breaths here. And then with your next exhale, you can kind of move the back leg more towards the middle. You're going to ground through the palms, lift the hips, use that back knee, slowly release the front leg, and come sitting back on the feet. So slowly do that because the hips are super deeply open in that pose. So just slowly coming back, sitting on the feet, taking a few breaths back here in a neutral state, letting it all settle and calm. And then when you're ready, coming back to all fours. Then this time the opposite foot comes forward, bringing that foot over to the outside of the mat. Leg is bent as close to 90 degrees as possible, and the hip is supported with your cushion. Moving the back foot towards the outside of the mat, if that's accessible to you. Then using the hands, placing them on the bolster, shoulders away from the ears, closing the eyes. Allowing yourself to come back to the breath. Feeling those full, deep inhales. Allowing yourself to open. Allowing yourself to drop into the pose. Using the breath to breathe into any discomfort. Using the exhale, letting it go. Maybe this hip is tighter than the other. We often have one side that tends to be tighter than the other side. So just using the breath, making the space. My yoga teacher always says, yin is not always relaxing, but it is always restorative. So if you're finding some discomfort here, know that you're doing that deep inner work and it's all worth it. So some of the ways ways that we can know that wood is in balance in our lives. When it's balanced, it shows up as people who are able to adapt their plans to any changes that come their way. People who are highly confident and very motivated. They have the power to set visions, either for their personal life or their work life. They have strong chi or strong energy. They're able to make strategic plans. And they have lots of insight into themselves and into others. People who are very courageous and resourceful often have strong wood balance in their life. And a lot of times people who are ambitious or people who love to be challenged have a really strong, deep sense of wood element in their lives. Go ahead and take 4 more full deep breaths here. With your next exhale, bringing that back leg towards the middle, grounding through the palms, lifting the hips, releasing that front leg, and then coming back slowly, slowly, no rush to come out of your pose. Hands can be on your thighs or palms facing up, and just take a few breaths. Coming back to center, letting it all settle. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring the bolster or your support just in front of us. We're going to do a variation of child's pose called tiger in the tree. So you're going to bring the knees wide on the mat and the big toes are touching one another. Making sure that the big toes aren't crossing, they're just touching each other. Knees are wide and your bolster is here. We're going to come forward onto the bolster. So if you want to have a little bit more support, you can get another blanket, or pillow if you want, and stack it on top of it. So once we're here, you're going to slowly walk the hands forward, and then we'll just turn and look towards the left. Palms are facing up. So if you want more support here, get more support for yourself. If you're feeling a little chilly and you want to put a blanket on, feel free to do that. You want yourself to feel really supported with the bolster or your cushion. And if this is uncomfortable for the hips, you can always, if you have a block or if you have a stack of books, you can come and sit back to help support the hips. So just finding a variation where you can be as comfortable as possible. And then closing the eyes, dropping into the breath. So what can be beautiful about working with the elements is when we notice that we're having an imbalance, maybe in frustration or aggression or anger, or we're lacking confidence or lacking motivation, or we just can't seem to get our thoughts together to set a clear vision or to set clear action steps for ourselves, we can kind of work with this element. And one way to work with our elements is through essential oils. So we've been talking about, if you've been in our practices, about ways to use oils to connect with these elements. So with the wood element, we can use oils such as rosemary, geranium, rosewood, basil, and grapefruit. And these ones are really beautiful because you can diffuse all of them in a room. You might add them to a nice warm bath to help bring the groundedness. Or some of these, because they're connected or made from foods, you can actually add them to cooking or to your water. So like personally, I love to add grapefruit oil to bottles of water in the morning. Just making sure that it's a metal bottle if you're going to put an essential oil into a bottle, because the oils can deteriorate plastic and we don't want that. So you can add it to water, or like basil and rosemary, you can add in cooking dishes. So it's a beautiful way to kind of bring some more balance if you're feeling like you're out of balance in these areas. Taking 3 more full, deep breaths. And then you can just switch the cheeks, so looking the opposite way. Or if this is really intense for your hips and you're wanting to just come up, you can bring the hands under the shoulders and just come up for a few breaths. And then bring yourself back down, palms facing up, looking the opposite direction. And just closing the eyes if that's comfortable. And allowing yourself to come back to the breath. There are also some other foods that we can use when we're feeling out of balance and we want to boost our confidence or motivation or calm impulsiveness. We can use foods like lemon, which again we can add to water if we want to, an easy way to incorporate that. Parsley and fennel, using olive oil in your cooking, using sesame seeds and strawberries are all connected with the wood element. So just bringing awareness to if we are ever feeling out of balance in this area, and these easy ways that we can access to bring us into a more centered, calm, and rooted place. We have less than a minute on this side, so just really allowing the body to fully release, allowing yourself to feel supported, allowing the body to let go. Let's take 4 more deep, full breaths. And then with your exhale, bringing the head back to center, bringing the hands under the shoulders, slowly coming up to a seat. Taking a few breaths here. We'll set up for our Shavasana. So you can bring your bolster or your cushion underneath the knees. We're going to have a nice cozy Shavasana. So if you have something to cover the eyes with, definitely grab it. If you have a blanket and you want to get comfy, definitely cover up. If you have any tenderness in the lower back or you just want to support the lower back a little bit more, you can bring that bolster, that cushion underneath the knees. And remembering that Shavasana is the time for our bodies to absorb the nutrients of our practice. The time for us to completely release, relax, and let go. So making yourself as comfortable as possible. Bringing the feet opposite sides of the mat, allowing the feet to flop out to the side. Bringing the hands by the side, palms facing up. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Making sure that the lower back is in contact with the floor. If it's not in contact, lifting the hips and rolling the lower back down. Tucking the chin towards the chest slightly to elongate the vertebrae in the back of the neck. And then making any last mindful adjustments as you settle in for your Shavasana. As you're ready, bringing the awareness to the top of the head. Relax the top of the head. Relax the forehead and the eyes. Relax the cheeks and the jaw. Relax the mouth. Relax the tongue. Relax the back of the head. Relax the ears. Relax the neck and the shoulders. Relax the arms and the wrists. Relax the hands. Relax the fingers one by one, letting go. Relax the chest. Relax the rib cage. Relax the torso. Relax the hips. Let them melt into the mat. Relax the thighs and the knees. Relax the calves and the ankles. Relax the feet. Relax the toes one by one, letting go. Relax the whole body. Let the whole body go. Beginning to bring the awareness back to the breath. Beginning to notice the inhale and notice the exhale. Beginning to deepen the inhale and lengthen the exhale. Beginning to bring movement back to the body by wiggling the fingers and wiggling the toes. It might feel nice nice to stretch the arms overhead and reach the feet long, giving the body one last stretch. As you're ready, you can roll over to the right side, maybe having a few breaths on the right side. And then when you feel ready, slowly making your way up, keeping the eyes closed if you can, coming up to a comfortable seat. We'll meet with the hands at heart center, bowing to look within with gratitude. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, of light, of truth, of peace. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining for practice tonight.